This is Shelley Kraft. We're coming to you live on SNNLive. We're at the PortTech Expo 2012 right here at the Port of Los Angeles. With me, Tim Bentley of Sustainable Now Technologies, a private company. Tim, I want to welcome you to SNNLive.
Thanks for having me, Shelley. It's good to be here.
It's perfect to have you. Let's get right into it. Tell me about Sustainable Now Technologies.
Okay, well, as the company name says, we're focused on developing sustainable technologies that can be implemented into the market in a very short time frame, i.e. now.
i.e. now. Give me an example.
Well, right now we're working on a technology we call the energy conversion machine, which converts sunlight into biodiesel using algae as a feedstock.
How does that work?
Well, basically the machine runs on solar power, and we use artificial light to grow the algae, because that way we can control the growth cycle. And then we use mechanical methods to extract the oil from the algae, and at that point the oil's ready to go into your diesel engine.
We all know, at least those that focus on biodiesel fuel, how algae is one of the most productive plants in the world. You know, I could think of a couple of others, but algae's right up there, what, one or two, correct?
Right, yeah. The growth rate of the algae is what really sets it apart from other terrestrial crops.
So how do you grow it?
Well, we grow it in modularized units to keep each strain enclosed and keep it safe from contamination.
So this is interesting. So what differentiates your company from some of the other companies that are, I guess, in the area, but not, you know, you don't hear that much yet about the algae product going into full force service, correct?
Right, and part of the reason for that is the approach that other algae fuel producers take, and that's the main difference between us and them, is that they are following a traditional method of producing large amounts of fuel in centralized regions and then distributing it everywhere, which takes a long time to build the infrastructure and distribution network. Our product is to be sold directly to the consumer so that they can make their own fuel.
You know, I know that there are other companies in the field. I've met them in the past, and I think that is a very, very good differentiation. How do you get these units out into a marketplace for people to what? They have to grow their own algae and also produce their own oil, correct?
Right. Well, the machine's highly integrated, and it's more of an appliance than a machine. So the idea is you move this machine into your garage. When you're ready to fuel up at the end of the week, you go, you put the hose in your tank, you push the button, and the algae oil comes out. We're trying to make it very easy for the consumer to use the machine. Now,
what are some of the uses for the algae oil?
Our focus is for biodiesel, to be run in a diesel engine. There's obviously all sorts of other uses from jet fuel to cosmetics, but our specific focus is biodiesel.
So now, I got a million questions. So now you're growing the algae at your home in your unit that's an appliance. Do you ever have to add algae into it, or does it automatically grow by itself?
Initially, you add the starter algae, and after that, it perpetuates itself and keeps growing without extra inputs for algae.
That's pretty cool. So what happens if you don't live in a climate that has solar power?
Well, every climate gets some solar power, and we've been developing machines. My family's from Montana. I grew up in Wyoming, so I think about cold climates while I'm doing my technology development, and we've been developing methodologies within our machines that can adapt to cold climates.
What's your background?
I'm an aerospace engineer. I work for Boeing building and launching satellites.
And then one day the algae thing came to you. What were you, in Wyoming riding a horse or something?
Actually, I was driving on the freeway overpass from the 105 to the 110, and I couldn't see downtown at all. Downtown LA was obscured in a curtain of smog, and I had had enough. I had to do something about it.
You gotta love it. What's the website?
We're sustainablenowtechnologies.com.
Algae Boy. Ladies and gentlemen, Tim Bentley from Sustainable Now Technologies, a private company. We are at the PortTech Expo 2012 here in Los Angeles. Tim, let me thank you for coming on to SNNLive, and I want to wish you luck.
The pleasure was all mine, Shelley. Thanks.
Perfect.